Hey,
Hey, all right.
you see our new opener.
Pretty funny. Jeez. Florida blowing up.
Yeah, you like your new NFTs?
Yeah, that's pretty good. All
We haven't
right.
sold any yet. You got to start peddling them to your students.
All right. Okay.
They're, the younger generation's into all that.
Yeah. They're on their phones all the time. They don't care. They're just,
Well, that's what the NFTs are. They're like
yeah.
digital pictures and stuff that they can
Well,
swap back and forth and
yeah. I
pay
mean,
crazy, insane amounts of money for them.
their phones have become part of their bodies. They're just glued to them.
Yeah.
Even the top students. I mean, we're talking valedictorian type students, man. They just got the phone on their hand. They got their head down and whatever. Sorry, I'm old fashioned, old school here.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
can, yeah,
it's crazy that, the technology in them and everything. I mean,
yeah,
to
it
think
is.
that, you know, uh,
I try to work with it. I try to put it in my favor and use Google Classroom and other stuff, AP
yeah, I mean,
Classroom.
there's some good
Sure,
positive stuff about it, but
sure,
yeah, I mean, you know, my daughter's 13. Your granddaughter, she's 13, and I mean, that's all they do. They're on their
yeah,
phone. They're either on their
yeah,
phone or they're playing online games with their friends, and
yeah,
you know,
yep.
I mean, she's not out doing drugs. She's not,
Good,
running away.
good.
So I mean, she likes to play video games. So nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that. How
she's a
was your
game.
week, real quick,
Good,
before
good,
we get
good,
in, before
good.
we get hard on the paint here?
Yeah, I'm in my final 5 years, and the fifth year now. The countdown has halfway through this fifth year, and good observation, very good evaluation. Even though it may not matter now since I'm exiting, I'm retired, but I'm in Florida. It's the Florida retirement system and the public school system, and so I'm moving out. It's interesting. I can kind of feel it. It's weird, but still busy, still doing stuff, still teaching, still you know, still poisoning children's
Are you
minds.
getting the effets?
What's that? What's the efforts?
The, like, I don't care anymore.
Oh well, you get some of that from the teachers you work with. I don't feel that way. I don't have too many kids that feel that way. I have some. As the day goes on, and my classes become more regular, a lot of kids, not a lot, but today I had out of 29 kids, I had 15 in my 7th hour class. So where are those 14 kids?
Hmm.
On their phones over at Whole Foods or something across the street, or I don't know. I don't know where they are. And we were doing fun stuff, good stuff, brain games and other
Hey,
things
hold on
for.
a second. I gotta fix. Or never
Okay.
mind. It worked. Remember last week my camera was on mirror. It was
Okay.
backwards or whatever.
Uh, sort of. Yeah.
It looks like it's okay now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, remember the shirt was backwards because it was on
Mm-hmm.
mirror. The
Okay.
camera was on mirror. So
Yeah, I like the new shirt. That's funny. I'm wearing the
yeah,
old
I
one.
got one right here.
All right.
Uh, so people can now they can see the whole.
Yeah. There it is. Wow.
There it is,
Boy,
the new one.
that's intimidating. I can just see me wearing that into Wings Plus, and maybe I
Uh,
will spread. Okay. Wow. That's
Spread
great.
Mr. Joynt on
Well,
YouTube.
well done. Well done.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I'm also looking for Valentine's Day gifts, and I'm going to check out Living Color World after the show's over. That's all I'm going to say. There you
Yeah, we're
go.
gonna put the.
Yep.
We got a
Good.
new little logo here. It's right.
Good.
Oh,
There it is. Yep.
right there. So you'll see
And,
that flashing throughout the show,
all
and
right.
also the Cash App QR code that people can just talk. We were talking about the cell phones earlier. You can
Mm-hmm.
just you turn on your camera on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
and you just put it up onto that QR code, and it takes it right to your Cash App.
Wow. That's great. That's great.
And people
Okay.
can donate to the show.
Wow.
And then if you already have Cash App, you guys can just hit that right there, our joint. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, but we don't ask for money on the show. We just, if people want to donate, great. If not,
Yep.
we're not going to get rich making YouTube videos.
Well, no.
We're
Keep our
not that
day.
special.
Keep our day job.
Yeah. Hey, did you see that Freedom Convoy?
Unbelievable.
Have you
Unbelievable.
been watching any of that stuff?
Canada,
It's not on the news. You have to
no.
go on YouTube and watch live streamers, but
Even the conservative media, Western Journal didn't have anything on it. Breitbart didn't have anything on it. Infowars, they're not cut. Nobody's touching it. Doesn't matter what your perspective is. Wow, there it is, Ottawa, Canada, and
yeah,
you've got
we gotta watch a couple minutes. This is today. This was this
yeah.
afternoon.
Go ahead.
The rally is tomorrow, but
Wow, they're already there.
holy crap. You're gonna hear a lot of honking horns, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it here. You'll hear
Okay.
this. I'm gonna play a
Ottawa.
couple minutes of it.
I know. I should have brought it out, man. But I mean, stored through the winter. 15K. That's unbelievable, guys. Thank you for joining me.
Wow.
All right, that gets a little annoying, but
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. It just
Yeah.
those trucks. It just goes on and on and on. And these are just the people that arrived early. I've heard reports of 50,000 to 100,000 trucks, maybe more. Some of these
Wow.
convoys that because they started they started on the other side of Canada. I don't know what that is. I know Ottawa's right above, New York and all
Yeah.
these places, but they started on the other side of Canada, like this Pacific coast.
Yeah.
And
British Columbia. British
yeah,
Columbia.
and they drove, across the country there, across country, and people just started coming up from America. They started coming down from I mean, and it's just a grassroots movement
Hmm.
that just kind of happened organically, and it's turned into this huge protest.
Wow.
And of course, you got people saying that it's going to be Canada's January 6th, and they're and
No.
so, but a lot of the stuff I've seen, they seem pretty well organized. They seem, um,
Yeah.
but you could always have bad actors. You could always have counter protesters come in. You could have provocateurs. I know Canada has their
Wow.
Trudeau
Look at
has
that.
their own yeah, yeah, dude.
Wow.
All these trucks have signs on them, and they've been driving.
Wow.
They started on Monday driving,
Hmm.
and it's just picked up. I mean, some of these convoys they say are 300 miles long.
Wow.
Just back trucks, all. I mean,
How are they gonna how
thousands of
they
trucks.
how they gonna refuel? I guess.
Some of the truckers brought tanks, like
Wow.
fuel tanks, and we're filling people's cars up on this. They
Hmm.
would pull over on the side of the highway. They use they're doing everything through social media. They have groups and stuff. Social media
Yeah.
groups that people can join, and they'll let them know where refueling places are,
Wow.
and then they all meet at certain truck stops and exits along the way, and
Wow.
like just regular people, not even truckers, have joined
Yeah.
too. They got in their car
Yeah.
and they're following the convoy.
Wow.
And
Man.
it's not anti-vaccine, it's anti-mandates.
Yeah.
So lockdowns, masks, yes, the
Yeah.
vaccine, don't close our
Mhm.
businesses anymore. Don't close the churches anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, Trudeau really got Soviet style on the
Yeah.
people there, and they're just not putting up with it. So, and of
No.
course, I was looking at Twitter and stuff. A lot of the media, a lot of people on Twitter, all the trolls come out and they're bashing them, saying they're white supremacists and
Yeah.
fascists and
White Canadian supremacists.
all this
That's.
stuff. And
Oh gosh.
it never ends. Well, they used to
No.
call, remember back 2016, 17, oh, my cat. She used to call, or they used to call everybody racist, right? And then
Yeah.
they used that word so much that it kind of lost its
Hmm.
meaning. So now it's white supremacy or domestic terrorism. You're a domestic terrorist or you're a white supremacist.
By the way, I want to see the cats on the show. So let them
Okay,
come
it's
on.
your
Let them.
show. This is
Yep.
Marble.
Marble.
Say
There's
hi,
Marble.
everybody.
Oh wow.
This
She's
is this is
so.
our
Yep.
this is our old. She's old.
How old's she now?
Like, we got her when Katie was like, I think 1, 2 maybe.
Man,
So
she's 12 years old. She's old.
yeah, so she's like
Yeah.
12. Here she is. She's like
Hmm.
the house mediator. So like
Okay.
when Zach and I talk to each other, because we have such deep, loud voices, she thinks we're
Yeah.
yelling at each other. So she gets in between us and starts meowing. So because I'm on this live stream and I'm talking, she does it to me when I'm on the phone too.
Wow.
Because my voice is just deep and loud.
Sure.
She thinks I'm yelling, so she comes up and she'll jump in my lap or she'll start meowing at me, basically
Well,
trying
you
to
know,
get me to shut up.
you have French. You're 1/4 French Canadian, as you know, and
But look at
there's
this. Look, it just
yeah.
keeps going and going. And it's not even the day of the rally. The rally's tomorrow.
Wow.
These are just people that arrived early. I mean, look, they've already
Yeah.
shut down. This street's shut down. Ain't nobody going anywhere.
Anybody wearing masks? I don't see any masks. Of course,
Well,
they're outside.
it's a anti-mandate, anti-lockdown.
So they're not going to wear masks. Wow.
Well, they're
Wow.
outside.
Yeah, sure. Well, New York City, you wear them. You wear them all the time. So,
Well,
that's what
and so supposedly when this rally's over, this freedom convoy, they're going to be driving. Supposedly they're saying they're going to D.C. next. So Washington, D.C. That'll be interesting.
How will they get over the border?
I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's why it started out with truckers, is because truckers, they put a vaccine mandate on truckers. So American truckers and Canadian truckers coming in back and forth between the border had to show their COVID pass.
Gosh.
Their vaccine passport.
Man.
So that's what started all this.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, it is really crazy.
Well, we're in the endemic part of this,
Yeah.
I think. I mean, they can't do this much longer. I mean,
you
can't close people's businesses, and you can't close churches and keep liquor stores open. I mean, people see right through that.
Yeah, sure.
Some people do, not everybody, but some people do.
Yeah, well,
and that kind of takes us to our tonight's topic. I mean, we put we're going to be talking about the Tuskegee experiment, but the title of the show is "And Other Government Atrocities." I mean, you lived through the swine flu back in the 70s, right?
Yep. And I don't remember what I did about it. I don't think I got vaccinated. I didn't do anything. I didn't even pay any attention to it because, you were asking me that earlier. And I don't remember. I don't know that your mom and I did anything. I don't even think she got vaccinated either. And she was working at the dentist's office, I think, at the time. And I don't think that she. I don't think she did. We didn't do anything. You'd have to ask her. I don't remember taking any precautions or getting vaccinated. But go ahead.
Would you say his name was Chris Wallace?
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace. Yeah, and his thing on. He was really animated about the errors of the vaccine, the dangers of taking the vaccine, and he was on 60 Minutes or something. You said you had something. Did you find something?
That's what I'm looking up right now.
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm looking up.
No, I remember, and man, he had those guys at the CDC and the FDA, and they were on there. They were backed up against the wall, and you don't see that. You see these guys sitting in privileged positions on CNN now, Fauci and all those guys, and they rule the roost. And that's not the way it was back. I mean, fact check it if anybody wants, but back in SARS and swine flu, as you said, wow, it was. They were under the gun. They were under the microscope. Not the CDC and not the FDA and not the NIH or any of that stuff. I didn't really understand how these things worked until, this current era in which we're in. Now I have a little better understanding of it, and my wife reads tons of stuff, and on both sides, pro-vax, anti-vax. There's Mike Wallace. There he is.
All right, so I'm assuming this is the.
This is it. The swine flu fraud. Wow, 1976.
Well, let's go ahead and listen to some of this.
Let's do it.
The flu season is upon us.
Real quick, you love to show movies in your classes, so tonight's kind of piggybacking off some of your classes.
Woo!
You didn't teach, you just showed a movie. So
that's all I did.
What were some of the movies you showed? You showed Glory and
Red
JFK, Red Dawn.
Now, JFK came out in 1991, and I didn't really get it. I have the VHS copy of that I showed throughout the mid to late 90s. Revolution with Al Pacino.
Yeah, I
That was a
remember
good one.
Revolution. We watched that one in class.
Revolution, Red Dawn, 1776, the musical, which was kind of lame. Gosh, I can't remember. I had stuff on the Kennedy assassination. I had the Zapruder film on tape, and I had other things. Yeah, I can't remember. Gosh, I still have some of that stuff saved, even though it's corrupted now. I mean, corrupted as it aged in VHS tapes. But I have a VHS, uh, whatever DVD combo in my room at school right now, so I can go back and forth
Wow,
with some of.
still VHS.
Yeah, I can still
Wow.
the Howard Stern show when he had Hollywood Squares, and
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Howard Stern and his
You showed that in class?
parts of it. I'm very careful of what I show in there because it is a little bit risque. He's and I have other stuff too. Way back, gosh, you're making my memory. Oh well, Glory, the Civil War epic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
Glory.
Black Regiment. Yeah.
I have the tape of that. I have the DVD of that still, but I don't teach U.S. history where I'm at now. I just teach psychology and AP Psych, and I'm not at Broward anymore, so I'm not doing no U.S. history anymore, at least for now. I don't know, but I'm in my final 4.5 years, so I don't know what that means.
So you just show
Mike
movies.
Wallace, go,
Yeah.
Mike
What
Wallace.
will we worry about this year? And what kind of shots will we be told to take?
Wow.
Remember the swine flu scare of 1976? That was the year the U.S. government told us all that swine flu could turn out to be a killer that could spread across the nation. And Washington decided that every man, woman, and child in the nation should get a shot to prevent a
Sound
nationwide
familiar?
outbreak, a pandemic.
It sure does.
Well, 46 million of us obediently took the shot. And now 4,000 Americans are claiming damages from Uncle Sam amounting to $3.5 billion.
Can't do that
Because
with
of
this
what
one.
happened when they
Nope.
took that shot. By far the greatest number of the claims, 2/3 of them, are for neurological damage or even death, allegedly triggered by the flu shot. We pick up the story back in 1976 when the threat posed by the swine flu virus seemed very real indeed.
This virus was the cause of a
There's your buddy.
pandemic in 1918 and 1919
Gerald Rudolph
that
Ford.
resulted in over 500,000 deaths in the United States, as well as 20 million deaths around the world.
See how easy it is to
Thus, the U.S. government's publicity machine was cranked into action to urge all America to protect itself against the swine flu menace.
Sound
Influenza
familiar?
is serious
Yeah.
business. During major flu epidemics, millions of people are sick and thousands die. Well, this year you can get protection. The vaccines are safe.
Well, that's a very
easy to
young-looking
take, and
Dr.
they can
Fauci
protect you against
right there.
flu. So
That's
roll
not
up
Dr.
your
Fauci.
sleeve.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Protect
Oh, okay.
yourself.
Well, we don't want to get taken down
One
for
of those who did
misinformation.
roll up her
Okay.
sleeve was Judy
Maybe that's
Roberts. She
Dr.
was
Fauci.
perfectly healthy, an
No,
active
I'm
woman.
sorry. It's a
All right,
woman.
well, they just
Yeah.
go into this lady then.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
And, she's this pretty lady, and then she's, now she's in a wheelchair and all this stuff. And she
Yeah.
was one of the, whatchamacallit,
Poster children.
well, one of the people that was injured.
Maimed.
Yeah. She had
Yeah.
Guillain-Barré and whatever.
Wow, and that's tough.
Yeah, man.
I have a student with
Well-
that. Sorry if I'm not supposed to say that, but go ahead.
Well, I wouldn't say their name.
No, not at all.
So, and then, I saw this, and then we can kind of work our way back to Tuskegee.
Mhm.
Obviously it's a fear-mongering tactic that we all see. And now Boris Johnson's going to be kind of kicked to the curb here, I think, very soon. They brought in they called the nudge unit.
Yeah, I read that.
I saw this article too today, and basically deploying fear, shame, and scapegoating during the pandemic labeled an unethically dubious practice.
And they're bringing a lot
So-
of people in England. They're bringing a international court thing too. I read that against Rockefeller Foundation, Boris Johnson, Dr. Fauci, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I don't know. There was a whole list of 14 or 15 people that are going to be hauled. I guess an attempt to haul them before the international court coming out of England. It's a UK driven, just like the
Yeah.
Canadian just like the Canadian truck rally, this is a UK-driven initiative. It is not from the United States, although people they're asking to come forward are people who probably reside, obviously Bill and Melinda Gates, who are soon getting divorced, if not already.
Well, we
Yeah,
know nothing's going to happen to these people. I think
yeah.
the majority of civilization just wants this to be over,
Hmm.
and that, now it's all starting to, it's all kind of starting to unravel. I'm not
Hmm.
saying COVID is a hoax. COVID is real. It's a
Oh, it is
real
real.
disease.
Yeah.
It's a real virus.
Yep.
You had it.
Yep.
Uh, you were sick. Jeff had it. He was pretty sick.
Julia and
He was.
Ryan had it. Yep.
Yeah, people.
Lisa
I
had it.
think we had it in the very beginning. Yeah, I mean,
Yep. Your
so it's
stepmother had
real.
it.
It's real, but was the juice worth the squeeze? Is my thing. What was?
Yeah.
Did we have to shut? It had a 90. It had a very high survival rate, very low mortality
Yeah.
rate.
Yeah.
Did we have to shut? Did you have? Could you? You went into. You told businesses they could no longer stay open, but
Hmm.
you could go into a grocery store and touch everything and breathe on everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't go to church, but you could go to a liquor store.
Hmm.
Like you couldn't go to school, but you could go to a, what it
A
was. I
bar,
find funny too.
sports
Yeah,
bar.
yeah, and like so, I think it's in Washington D.C. So there's strip clubs, right? And the women
Yeah.
are nude and all that, but they have to wear a face mask.
Yeah. That's good. Boy, that restores my
So
faith in humanity.
I mean,
Gee.
it's just like, come on, like now people are,
Yeah.
I call it, I started calling this way back when I saw people losing their mind over someone not wearing a mask, or when I saw
Yeah.
people driving around in cars wearing masks. I called it a pandemic, PDS, pandemic
Yeah.
derangement syndrome. It was
Yeah.
like it just psychologically disturbed some people. I think that were already kind of teetering on the edge. I mean, it probably just pushed some people right over.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of like what they call virtue signaling, which is like, now I have the authority to tell people, like
Yeah. Sure.
maybe I was
Yes.
picked on, or maybe,
Yeah.
no one ever respected me, but now
Yeah.
I'm going to I'm going to virtue signal and tell
Hmm.
everybody, hey, you got to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah. Or
So
a power trip like Premier
yeah, exactly. Some people, it's a power
Trudeau
trip.
of Canada.
Have
That's a
you
power.
ever heard of the National Exercise Program?
That has to do. Is that
So
okay? Go ahead. Go ahead. I think I know where you're heading. Is that tonight's topic?
no,
Does
no,
that
no.
relate to
We're
no?
working our way back to Tuskegee.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
That's what I thought. I did read it, but I don't recall because I was looking at Tuskegee in the theme tonight. But go ahead.
Well, and this kind of everything's going to tie together. So the National Exercise Program, it's not like exercise, like you go ride a
Right.
bicycle or go jogging. It's a
Yeah.
it's in here. Let me bring up
Do
this
it.
little bit about it. It's a combination of Homeland Security, other
Oh yeah. Yeah.
interagencies,
Okay. Okay.
FEMA.
CIA, FEMA.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what happens is they run, like, not psyops, but they run tests, they run exercises, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's going to be a natural disaster, so they'll run it, they'll get everybody together and they'll figure out, and some of it's, it's important, hey, how do we respond to a terrorism event, a domestic
Hmm.
terrorism event,
Hmm.
a flood, a natural disaster, stuff like that, and they run tests. But then, because of the way the law is written, when the FBI gets involved, it's so, like, when they run domestic terrorism
Hmm.
exercises, they can actually get entrapment. So, like, that thing that happened with Whitmore, that
Oh
could have
yeah.
been a national exercise program,
Hmm.
like, operation, to get these guys. They get them, they entrap them, and all this stuff, and then they
Hmm.
say, okay, well, this is how now we keep someone from kidnapping a governor, because they
Hmm.
ran this beta test, right?
Hmm.
And this is an actual thing. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is
No.
an actual thing. And I'm going to bring up this real quick. This was back from 2010. This is Janet Napolitano. She was the director of Homeland Security, I
That's
believe,
right.
at the
That's
time.
right. Yep.
And so what this memorandum basically said is, okay, you know, this is kind of when it started going public. A lot of people didn't know that this program, this national exercise program, didn't exist. And if you go on the government website, it's just going to take you right to FEMA. Okay. But it's not going to get into the nitty gritty. And I got an article from a guy who actually really studied this. And his concern was about how the law, they keep changing the federal laws. So this was a memorandum that kind of changed part of the law in 2010. It was a 1-year exercise. They would run an exercise every year. And then this one changed it to 2 years. Develop a 2-year progressive exercise. So these programs would run for 2 years, right? So develop a 2-year progressive exercise program that increases the total numbers of blah blah blah. A progressive exercise program should consist of a series of more frequent, smaller scale drills, okay, into a single national level full scale exercise and meet objectives established by principals as well as partners, operational elements, and legal requirements. Remember that, legal requirements. They have to get this stuff passed. And what this also does, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's pretty long. What this one also did was say that some of these exercises need to be classified. Okay, so this gave them the authority. So there could be a you know, an event, right? But it could be totally made up. And this brings in the news organizations. This brings in everybody working in lockstep. The FBI, the FEMA, DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Everybody can work together to facilitate this. You know, if it's counterterrorism, so they're after domestic terrorists. Well, it could be totally made up. It could be just one of these exercises that they're doing. So I thought that was interesting. And then what really makes this interesting, this is a memorandum.
Gosh.
And it's to John Brennan. Who was the assistant for president for Homeland Security Yeah, we could do a whole episode on John Brennan.
The Russia hoax.
The Russia hoax. But what really kind of makes this interesting, and this is kind of where I was, again, this is now my conspiracy theory, okay? And I'm not saying that this is what it is, but it's just coincidence that in October of 2019, so these exercise programs, the NEP, National Exercise Program, only covered natural disasters, terrorism, you know, domestic terrorism, right? So a flood, a hurricane, a Michael Vey or whatever, you know, Osama bin Laden. Okay, so it covered exercises so that to get them prepared in case one of these things happened, and then they would whatever. So so real quick, sorry, I gotta bring this up here. Window. Oh, I gotta click on it. There we go. And then we'll get to Tuskegee.
Well, yeah, you know, Tuskegee is kind of just there. It's there, and it's
where'd it go?
Yeah. Whoops.
There it goes.
All
right. So what ended up happening was these federal laws were approved right before the pandemic in October of 2019.
Okay.
They legalized these exercises for emerging threats that included now health emergencies.
All right.
So like an outbreak of a disease.
This is while Donald Trump was still in office. Go.
Yes.
We need to put this in context.
They changed the law right before 2020.
Yep.
To legalize now them being able to do an exercise with the National Exercise Program. So basically a practice run on how to protect the population from an emerging threat of a disease.
Event 201. Everybody look up Event 201 when you get a chance. Google it. Read about it. Sorry.
And then the FBI gets involved. The Department of Homeland Security gets involved. It coordinates with the heads of departments and agencies to carry out the National Exercise Program.
Wow.
And then, so the COVID-19 pandemic, I'm not saying that that's what happened, but
Hmm.
that's included
Yeah.
as what they can call an emerging threat or an emerging infectious disease threat. That's quoted from the 2019 change in the federal law.
Man. Boy,
So
that's yeah.
October, the change suggests the possibility or even the high probability that the U.S. government was preparing for a national security
Yep.
exercise for such an emerging threat. Soon after the law changed the COVID-19 pandemic, a
Hmm.
pandemic of an emerging threat reportedly
Hmm.
began. Okay, so I think it could be coincidence, right? Could just be the
Uh,
timing, right?
yeah. 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 Conspiracies. Sorry.
Well,
Go
and this is interesting.
get yourself a cold.
The
Here it
Obama
is.
Biden administration's executive order in 2016, only a few days before the Democrats lost the election,
Yeah.
ordered the FBI and the Department of Justice to be leaders in linking public health with law enforcement and to facilitate implementation and coordination of FBI programs to further the global health security agenda. Global health security
Yeah.
agenda. This was a
Global.
worldwide pandemic, as
Wow.
well as provide technical expertise to measure and evaluate progress in countries the United States had made a commitment to assist.
I hate to say it.
Uh,
This almost makes the Kennedy assassination look like a Girl Scout camp. Sorry.
right.
Having lived through this, as you have, and all the listeners have lived through this now, inconvenience, perhaps bankruptcy, uh, mandated vaccinations that you may or may not agree with, masks, mandates of all sorts.
Yeah.
Um, here we are, and this
Now,
was almost like
yeah.
a menu or a script, before everything, happened in 2019, 2020. Wow.
And I mean,
Go
this
ahead.
article is so much stuff, and this isn't the purpose of the show, but people people may say, well, that's a conspiracy theory, right? You guys are
That's
crazy.
it's right there.
When has the government ever done
Yeah.
such experiments on
No.
a society that involves health? Well,
Well, yes. Tuskegee.
guess what?
Yeah.
They
Sure.
do.
Yep.
And they did it before Tuskegee too, wasn't it? The
Yep.
Indians, they put
Yes.
smallpox on the blankets and
Yep.
killed off.
The Indian Ring Scandal, 1873-74, under the administration
So
of
now,
Ulysses S.
yeah,
Grant.
of course, in Wikipedia it says it's the Tuskegee syphilis study. It's a study,
Hmm.
right? Makes it sound so much more
Yeah.
apathetic, right? Oh, we're just studying them.
Apathetic, and academic
Yeah,
at the same
yeah. It
time.
makes it kind of softens the blow. No, it was
Yep.
an experiment, and it happened for a long time, from
Hmm.
1932 to 1972, and it was
72.
about the effects on syphilis in untreated people. So they knew they had syphilis. They gave them the syphilis, right? And then they didn't treat it, and then they studied how the syphilis affected only black males.
Wow.
400 black males from 1932 to 1972 were contracted syphilis from the
Hmm.
government, right? They gave them syphilis, and then they would take their blood and see how it affected them, and then
Hmm.
didn't tell them, right?
No.
So then these guys go and get married or whatever, they have
Yeah.
children, and then now these children contracted syphilis. So I read some horrible articles that by the time this thing was over, it was like thousands and thousands of people that were children that had
Yes.
syphilis at a
Had
young age.
syphilis. Yep. Yep. And this is in the process of experimentation. This is called informed consent. That those that are being experimented upon must give their consent. Um, I don't. Maybe I don't want to get to. I don't want to go to the virus at this point or the vaccine, but that's
Well, it all kind of
yeah,
ties back
yeah.
into this.
It
Like,
does.
does the government do some bad things to its citizens? Yes.
Yeah, that's
You
an
know,
example right there. Yes.
and is this, this was a little bit, it started in 1932, so it started a little bit before the
Yeah.
National Exercise Program,
Long time.
right, that we were just talking about.
Yep.
But you know what I mean? Like, this
Yeah.
basically the only reason why this stopped was because of a whistleblower. This guy right here, Peter Buxton. I can't.
Well, that's all right. And take note of the fact he's white, correct, or is he black?
Yeah, he's white.
Okay, all right.
But he was the one that basically said, "Hey, man, this is unethical.
Yeah,
this is wrong.
Ethics, informed consent. Yep.
Yeah." And then the NAACP ended up filing a class action lawsuit against the U.S. government. The government paid these people $10 million and then provided free medical treatment to all the survivors.
Yeah, and you're dying. Meanwhile, you're dying of it, and you're infected. You can't get rid of it. Well, penicillin probably could have done some of it, but they weren't given penicillin. I read that.
No, they were untreated. It says right here.
You have the same thing going on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was conducted by the United States Public Health Service and the CDC, Centers for Disease Control.
Centers for Disease Control. Where have we seen that before?
These people on a group
right
of
here.
nearly
Wikipedia.
400 African Americans with syphilis. The purpose of the study was to observe the effects of the disease when untreated.
Jeez.
Though by the end of the study, medical advancement meant it was entirely treatable, meaning they could have treated them the whole time. Wow. The men were not informed of the nature of the experiment, and more than 100 died as a result. The public health service, or whatever, Tuskegee University. So that's where you get the.
Yeah.
So it was at the college at Tuskegee University, a historically black college in Alabama.
Yep.
In the study, investigators enrolled a total of 600 impoverished African American sharecroppers from Macon County, Alabama.
Wow. Sure. I know. It's a lot of things going through my head. I don't even know where to go with that because, Booker T. Washington, the founder of Tuskegee Institute, wouldn't have approved of that. And he was already dead by then, by 32. George Washington Carver would live, I think, another 21 years. He died in 1943. And, scientist, eminent, probably the greatest scientist that ever lived in America, African American.
Oh, yeah.
Inventor. And,
the
I
peanut.
don't think,
the magic legume, the magic bean.
And all the colors and all the patents he invented, carbon fiber and stuff that he just gave to industrialists and said, look, I don't need the money, just take it. I mean, amazing guy. I don't know how many patents a day that he averaged. He was so bright. And I don't think those gentlemen, I don't think Booker T. Washington or George Washington Carver, under the name of Tuskegee, would have approved this had they known the intricacies of it. So this must have been done. You've done more research on this, and I already shared with you before that I'm a little out of touch on some of this, but I didn't know how well publicized this was at the time. I mean, COVID's very well publicized. I don't know how this was in 32, but go ahead. Whether you have that information or not, I was just curious.
Well, but there wasn't a syphilis outbreak.
Right.
This was an experiment done on people.
Okay. All right. Which Fauci has done, and that's coming out now more and more.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I don't understand why PETA isn't after him.
Yeah, exactly. Where are they? Where is PETA? Those little beagle puppies?
Well, here's where.
Jeez.
And then I don't know if you saw this on the news. This kind of here we go again. That monkey did you see that thing, that monkeys that escaped in Pennsylvania? Was it Pennsylvania?
Oh yeah, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
And that lady now is sick.
Yeah. So did they start another one?
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Well, I think that was just an accident.
Well, all right. So was Wuhan supposed to be the bats? They were supposed to be an accident. Jeez. Yeah. Go ahead.
But my thing is they say, we're not doing any studies on, gain of function and all this stuff. But then now these monkeys, they were being shipped from one place to another, and they were all infected with something.
Yeah.
So they do. I understand animal, they experiment on animals to make medicines, right?
Yes.
And they got to get the closest ones to the human, so monkeys. They're going to do monkeys.
Sure. Yep.
So that they can get, some, what was it? But cowpox, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
cowpox, like, so the way they used to inoculate people, like, so when people first started understanding about, antibodies and stuff, the cows would get the lesions on them, right? And
Okay.
then the farmer, if he got sick or he got infected, he would take a piece of wood and rub it on the lesion of the cow where the pus was coming out, and then he
Okay.
would prick his skin. And
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
like early
Yeah.
inoculations,
Real
way back when.
inoculation.
But
Yep.
these monkeys supposedly had like monkeypox or something. There was a big monkeypox outbreak.
Sorry. Yeah.
Monkeypox has killed lots of people.
Yeah. You've read
So
more on
are
that.
they
Yeah.
experimenting with monkey?
I
Like,
don't know.
is this like another? Are we?
Yeah.
Because the way this cycle's been going, and what we just watched earlier with that truckers rally, I mean, the narrative
Yeah.
is starting to collapse.
Yeah.
People aren't they're not scared of it anymore. And I don't know
Yeah.
if you noticed this cycle. I mean, we've been 2 years now into this. Every time one variant peaks, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you had
Another
COVID
one
and then it
comes out.
peaked, and
Yeah.
then as soon as it goes down, another one comes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had Delta, and as soon as the wave started retreating, boom, all of a sudden you had Omicron, right?
Yeah.
And then now they're talking, as soon as the cases went down, now all of a sudden they call it stealth Omicron.
Jeez.
Stealth Omicron.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Oh, there's an outbreak in Texas.
Yeah.
And so
Common-
it's just this
Common cold it's no worse than the
Yeah.
common cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
I hear you.
it keeps the rules in place.
Man. Yeah, I read the monkey thing. I haven't gotten to the bottom
Absolute
of that
power corrupts.
Yes.
Absolutely.
one. Wow. Good quote. Man, history repeats itself.
Oh, I'm full of quotes.
Yeah. All right. Crime pays.
America was founded by geniuses, and is run by idiots.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah, the monkey thing. That's I just read that.
Get ready
one.
for monkeypox.
Oh gosh. I hope I don't.
I don't even think the lady touched him. So the story is the truck, this
Mhm. Yeah, truck wrecked or something. It overturned and all the monkeys.
unmarked truck, like
Unmarked
a box
truck.
truck, got
Wow.
hit by a dump truck.
Huh.
And all the crates came out, and like there was like 100 monkeys in this truck,
Yeah.
and 3 of them escaped.
Yeah.
And so the lady was when she saw the accident, whatever, she started helping, and then she noticed some of the monkeys, like whatever, she thought they were cats, so she went over there to like try to help one, and I guess now she has like pink eye and she doesn't feel good,
Jeez.
and they're making her quarantine and all this stuff.
Wow.
And then like remember I saw like right when it happened, like I
Mhm.
saw it like on a little bit of the news, and they were saying, hey, if you see these monkeys, don't touch them.
Yeah.
And then like they killed them all. They killed all these monkeys.
Gee
They
whiz.
euthanized them.
So I guess you could
That
say
to me sounds like a
yeah.
cover up.
Yeah, the authorities went ape over the monkey thing.
Yeah. There
Sorry.
you go. Good one.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's probably too loud. Sorry.
Now we only talked about Tuskegee for about 5 minutes, but I think
Yeah.
the important part of this is that hey, this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And if you think the government or the people who work in government, I'm not saying the government as a whole, but certain agencies don't have
Yeah.
the power or can't get away with some of this stuff or haven't been doing some
Yeah.
crazy stuff, or you think that some of these things just happen by coincidence,
Yeah.
you may want to just, do your homework,
Do your
and
homework.
don't believe everything you
No.
hear or see on the news, because I think that's a big part of the problem
Yep.
is people believe and
Yep.
whatever they don't, and I think some people just don't. It's too much.
It's too much.
It's too
Yeah.
much. They want to think that everything's fine, that
Of course. Yeah.
Otherwise they're just gonna.
We go out and work, and we got family, and we got kids, and we got cats, and you don't have
you
time
got
in the
bills.
day.
You don't have time to worry about
Yeah.
all this stuff.
You don't have time in the day. You expect your government is supposed to be taking care of you, or at least watching out for your welfare, just like the preamble says. It's supposed to be there for us. We instituted it, John Locke, and we the people, in order to form, basically all these things that are mentioned in the preamble that Joe Biden can't recite. But anyway, and I'm having a little trouble with it too. But I mean, just look at the preamble of the Constitution. This is what the government's supposed to be doing for us. And wow, monkeys on trucks, and Goodness, sorry.
Should we leave it there?
Yeah,
Monkeys
let's
on
leave it with the
trucks.
monkeys.
Yeah,
I saw the
don't-
picture. I saw the pictures of the monkeys in the road, and they're all looking at the camera, and they look like they're victims too. Like, how did we get into this picture?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, why are we here? And some of them really looked really mangy and looked like they were frothing at the
they were
mouth.
sick.
And I thought, man, what's going on here?
Well,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's lived through this pandemic for 2 years, and they're still doing this crap.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
They're still.
Yeah, we want domestic tranquility. You know, we want to provide for the common defense against globalism.
Clown
Yeah.
world isn't over yet, folks. It's
No.
never going back to
No.
normal. Sorry.
No. And
Go live
anyway,
your life. You
go
know,
live your life.
Go
The birds-
enjoy a sunset. Watch a
Yep.
sunrise. You know,
And
smell
sunrise
the
and-
flowers.
Tomorrow it will be 40 degrees here in Broward County. 40
Yeah.
degrees. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be 20s tomorrow.
Some cold
Up
monkeys
here.
out there. All right,
Yeah.
20s. Wow.
Yeah, make sure you keep your monkey warm.
Yeah, jeez. And hug your cats.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right. Any last words of wisdom, Dad, before we
No,
shut
I'm
down
gonna-
the show?
I'm going to look at Living Color World, look at Valentine's Day stuff, and that's where I'm heading.
All right, bud.
All right.
Good week, and everybody, thanks for watching
Yep,
Mr.
thank
Joynt
you.
Live. And we'll be here next Friday night, right?
Yeah, as long as this doesn't become Mr. Joynt dead. Sorry.
Okay, good. All right, Dad.
All right.
Love you.
Okay. Love you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.